Welcome to Hoops Hitting Gems podcast. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We got another great show lined up. And as we stated before, this is our second show in a row with another head coach from the women's side. We wanted to definitely build up the women's side. And good friend of mine, Coach Andrea Mize from Lincoln University out in Missouri. So welcome to the show, Coach. How you doing?
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on. And I'm starting to, I think, get the swing of these Zoom podcasts. I mean, that's just the way of the world now. So I love it. Let's do it.
Definitely. I wish I would have got some stock in the Zoom before all this taking off. I mean, because I'm sure there's some rich people now. Definitely.
I bet.
Definitely. So we wanted to get in tonight. We want to introduce you to the Atlanta and Southeast community as well about Lincoln University in Missouri. Tell me, where are you guys located at?
So we are in Jefferson City, which is the capital here in Missouri. It's pretty centrally located, which is great for us from a recruiting standpoint. About an hour 45 from St. Louis, 2 hours from KC and that barbecue, and then you got Springfield in the south. So it's a good little deal for us here. And then, of course, Jeff City brings some pretty good talent as well. Jefferson City being it was the largest high school in the state of Missouri, but recently within the last 5 years broke off and they now share with Capital City High here in Jeff City. So really good talent, Blair Oaks. You also have Helias here in town, which is a Catholic school. And so really good talent in the area that just makes it a fun and enjoyable place, and 45 minutes from the Ozarks. So you can't go wrong with that.
Got you. So let me ask you this. So you guys are D2 and you play in the strong MIAA conference. Tell me some more about the conference.
The conference is different. So I was at a Florida Division I JUCO. And when I first took over there, people used to tell me like, it's different here. And it was. You get a lot of Division I transfers that don't want to sit out a year. So they go down there, they spend that extra year. Who wouldn't want to be in Florida if you're going to go JUCO? And then you go back to your Division I or whatever school you choose. So we had a lot of turnover. We had a lot of talent. And it was different. And when I took this job, same thing was said. Like the MIAA is just different compared to all the other leagues. And it's true. They really are. I think it's probably the deepest league, top to bottom. It really reminds me of the Big Ten, if you will, just how deep it could be. You have the number one team playing the 12 team, and the 12 upsets them. And the number one team usually isn't undefeated for very long. So very similar, 14 teams in the conference. And it's a great league. Not the traditional run, shoot, and holler that maybe I was used to with Florida JUCO, a little bit more traditional. But that's what we're trying to do here at Lincoln is really take, the high IQ style of basketball and the understanding and the reads and the defensive scheming, and mix that with the athleticism and kind of that run, shoot, and holler theme that we had at Central Florida for my Division I JUCO.
Okay. So are you guys playing this year? Tell me some more about what's going on. You guys have an abbreviated schedule. What's going on?
So we do have an abbreviated schedule. It's all conference only, which, of course, for me, taking over in June of a team that has not won a conference game in nearly 2 years, that I was like, man, I don't even get a warm up. We're just going right but I've loved it. The kids have welcomed it. The MIAA has done a fantastic job of making sure that we're able to see the court. We're actually the first basketball team, men's or women's, to see the court for our conference. And that was across Division I and Division II. We were the first team to be able to see the court. We actually weren't. We were in quarantine, but another team in our conference was. And I think that's a tremendous, accomplishment just with everything going on and really wanting to be able to, just feel, quote unquote normal again and be able to put out a product that we can be proud of and, give people a little bit of hope.
Okay, sounds good. So as far as the university goes, is it strict to kind of the acceptance and admissions policy? Is it strict, or tell me a little bit more what type of student athletes you're looking for?
So we are a HBCU. We are actually founded by the 62nd and 65th Infantry of the Civil War. But it's interesting because we're not your traditional, Harris Stowe or Fisk HBCU. We're actually founded upon the idea of equality and education for all. So a very diverse campus, very fun-loving campus. It actually sits up on a hill with athletics being on the lower tier and all of the administrative buildings and classes up top. Very beautiful campus. As far as admission goes, for me, I always look for kids that are over a 3.0. We were very blessed this year to have one of our freshmen actually got a 4.0. We only had three kids. We had one kid at a 2.99 and then two other kids that were in the 2.0 to 3.0 range. And as a team, we were at 3.32. So
Nice.
really, really proud of my kids this year. When we came in as a staff, we decided to redo the culture top to bottom. And one of the things was making sure that the academics and that side of basketball matched the athletic side of basketball. So I think the academics has actually excelled a lot quicker than we thought. And now we're trying to get caught up with the athletic side of things. But, very, very good with nursing here. It's actually the number 2 nursing program in the state. And we have some heavy hitters with Missouri State and UMKC and Mizzou. So very proud of that. SLU as well. So number 2 for nursing, also pretty known for criminal justice. We actually just got a contract to have the first police academy at an HBCU in the United States. So that was huge. Shout out to Gary Hill, the chief here. He is a great friend, has been welcoming to me and has done a great job with criminal justice and helping us bridge that gap, which is just tremendous. And then we're really known for business and education after that. So lots to offer. Obviously, we have a wide variety, but that's really our main package, and what we're kind of known for in the area.
Okay, nice. So getting on the basketball side, so you brought in transfers, you had returning players. Tell me a little bit more about what's going on.
Yeah, so when I signed on, I believe it was around mid-April, we only had 6 kids remaining on the roster. I decided not to bring 3 back just from the guidance of my athletic director and some of the other things that I had heard of the happenings and some of the conversations even I had with some of the returning players. It just didn't seem like it was really going to work out. And so, we didn't bring 3 back, but we did bring 3 back. They are all seniors. We actually had one that is not returning for the spring. She decided to go play for her national team down in South America.
Wow.
We are now with 2 seniors. Besides that, we brought in 2 freshmen out of the Kansas City area that have actually seen a ton of minutes this year. And that was kind of my goal, is I know that there's going to be gaps for us and that we're still going to have some holes to fill. Obviously, being in COVID, we weren't able to go and get this monster team that we really wanted. But I really liked what we were able to do from certain position standpoint. So 2 freshmen seen a lot of minutes. I did bring some JUCO transfers in with me as well. One of which is from KC as well and is yet to see the floor because of COVID and COVID protocol. So I'm excited to finally get her on the floor. And then, I brought 4 kids with me from College of Central Florida as well. 2 sophomores, 2 juniors, and brought 2 other kids from Florida JUCO. So really just an array of players that I thought could come in and make an impact as soon as possible. And to be honest, we're quite young, especially now that we're going to get this extra year of eligibility. It's completely changed our recruiting class. My 23 class was going to be 7 strong. It is now looking at probably being 2 at the max. And then that was my 22 class. Now that's my 23 class. So now, like I said, my 22 class is looking at 2 strong. Now my 23 class is looking at 6 strong. So it kind of pushed everything back. And then this year we're looking to bring in 4 or 5 players. So a lot of things, learning, trying to figure out what's going to work in this league. Obviously don't have all the answers yet. We only played in 5 games. First semester, we're going to play in 17. So we got a 22 game stint here for the season. And we'll go 17 games in roughly about 8.5, 9 weeks. So we'll kind of see what we're made of here. I'm just praying that we stay healthy. That's been our biggest Achilles heel right now is, one kid goes into COVID protocol. Another one comes back out of quarantine, and it was like we were just doing the shuffle effect the whole time. And then on top of that, you obviously have your normal injuries. So I walked into practice today with 11 girls, and I started looking around. I was like, is this what a basketball team looks like? I have to practice today. This is awesome. So.
Okay. So how is the MIAA going to do their tournament this year? I know that has to be something different that they're planning for this year.
We haven't really got a lot of information on it. I do know we are limiting the amount of teams that can qualify for it for this year, and I think that was obviously a great call on their part. It's traditionally been held in Kansas City, right next to the College Hall of Fame, which is an awesome venue. So I honestly would kind of look for them to do maybe a similar setup. Or maybe do the first round, at one of the schools, and then take the second round, maybe, into KC. But honestly, we're just blessed to be playing the game. And so whatever they decide, they've obviously got the manpower behind it and have been running the numbers. So whatever's going to keep us healthy and blessed, that's what I'm excited for.
Sounds good. Definitely sounds good. So one of the big things I talk about with D2s, D3s, NAIAs, I'm sure you go after transfers and JUCOs, of course. How different is it, in your opinion, with D2 women's ball to D1 women's ball?
Obviously, I've played, at the Division I level, and then obviously now getting to coach at the Division II level, and I think there's a big emphasis on, the playing, and then also still being a college kid and having your summers off, and kind of that work-play balance. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. When I was at Indiana, I think I got off 2 weeks out of the year. Even then, we were still expected to be, full workouts, because as soon as we came back, we were getting tested for the mile, and we're getting tested for all these things, and bod pod, and you name it. So the 2 weeks off, they weren't really off, if you know what I mean. So yeah. It was different, and I loved it. It was great for my personality. I'm kind of a prove you wrong type of person, and so I thrived in that environment. But it's very, very hard for some people. I saw 3 coaches in 4 years. I tell people all the time, I saw the good, the bad, and the ugly. I saw, coaches that really, really cared about you as a person, and then the other side of that was caring about you as a basketball player. And then I saw some that I felt just saw you as a basketball player, and you were just kind of a pawn in this game. And so that's one thing when I'm out talking to people, I really stress, you don't need to get on Twitter and see that top 25. I've narrowed it down to the top 25. Well, you only get 5 official visits. So, and you only have so many times to talk on the phone. So are you asking the right questions? Are you getting to know your future teammates? Are you getting to know the staff? I tell my kids all the time when I recruit them, like, you could love me, you could hate my staff, you could love the staff and hate my players. If it's not happy marriage before you even get on campus, then it's really not going to be a family affair, once we get of it. So I really encourage them to do their homework, to get to know my players. I allow my players to spend valuable time with the recruits as well, understanding that, yeah, they might tell them some stuff like coach is crazy, and that's part of the job. But at the end of the day, if my kids know that it's with good intentions, and it's because I love them and I want to see them thrive, and I want to see them, in 10 years call me and say, hey, I got this promotion because you taught me this, or you held me accountable. That's the championships. And at the end of the day, I think the wins and losses will take care of themselves if that is our culture moving forward.
Nice. Now, you went to Indiana. Are you from Indiana?
I am. Yep. And now we get the NCAA tournament this year. I'm like,
I know. Actually, my roommate in college was from Anderson, Indiana. So
I had a teammate.
And there was a team. Oh, okay. And there was a bunch. I mean, while I was in college, I knew about Indiana because I came out during the Damon Bailey era. So I knew about him. I knew about Eric Montross. I knew about Allen Henderson. And I knew it was a basketball crazy state until I actually got to see it for myself. And one of my good friends, the producer of the show, he's from Kentucky. And he used to always tell me about the Kentucky-Indiana matchup and, how that was in the little all-star game. So when you leave a place like Indiana and you're going to Florida or wherever you go, what do you take from Indiana? Because that's like, I'm from Pittsburgh. So even though I was a basketball player, it's a football crazy state. Yeah. So Indiana is tied to basketball like Pennsylvania is to football.
Yeah.
What do you take with you from Indiana? Because you guys eat, sleep, breathe, Christmas and everything.
People get it. Like, I remember, no joke, we were going up to West Lafayette to play Purdue. And I remember going through Martinsville, Indiana, which is on the way. Yeah. And there's a kid in candy stripes. There's 2 feet of snow on the ground, and he's getting up shots against his barn. That sounds so Indiana. And that is like the epitome. And I remember my teammates being like, yo, you see that? And I'm like, yeah, that was probably me as a kid. Like, I'm not so it is different. And I think overall, my experience at Indiana as a player, my experience to be just in that culture, the rich basketball knowledge, it really keeps me grounded to the fundamentals. You know, I like I said before, I'm kind of OCD on some of the stuff I teach. It's kind of like building a house. Like if you don't have a good foundation, then the rest isn't going to follow. So, you know, it's great when I walk in and I see these, you know, freshmen in high school that can make these great moves, but then you see them miss wide open layup. And I'm like, come on, man. You know, that's the stuff I'm talking about. That's
what Indiana is. And I'm glad you said that. Indiana is big on fundamentals, right? They're huge on fundamentals, and they can all shoot. They can all shoot. I'm like, oh my God, my roommate was an amazing shooter. I'm
like the only kid out of Indiana that will not say I'm a shooter. Like I was 5'9", people trying to like make layups and take charges. I did not develop a shot until I went to college. And I remember my college coach being like, you're from Indiana. Why don't you like to shoot the three? And I'm like, I don't really have an answer for that. Just no one, I guess for me and my style of play, no one could really stop me getting to the rack. At least when I was in high school, college, different story. So I never was forced to have to pick up on it.
Until you got to college, right?
And then I got to college and it's like, you're not going in there with that 6'4" girl. Like it's not happening. Especially because I got moved to a 2 guard. I got recruited to play point. 5'9", they said, you can't play anything but point. And then, you know, we get Kurt Miller in my second year and he's like, you'll laugh when you see my point guard. And sure enough, first day she walks in, she's 5'4", 5'5" on a good day. And I was like, I see you. I can play the 2 guard for you. I think that's another thing that kind of stuck with me too is, you know, it's not always about the look. People always say, oh, she has a basketball build. What does that really mean? You know, if she can't make a basket, what's a basketball build going to do for me? I think, you know, great epitome of that is I have a sophomore guard here that's 5'4" and all of 95 pounds soaking wet. And people look at her and they laugh. But you ain't laughing by the time we're done with those games. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
She's averaging 19 points a game. I mean, she's just a straight dog and just gets after it. And you can't measure her heart. And I've got a couple kids on my roster like that. And I love it. You know, that's kind of my basis for where I want this program to go. So, you know, you have to love the game to come play for me. And it's not because I ruin it for you. It's just I love the game so much that I can't see someone else be passionate. Yeah, exactly. So I tell people that in the recruiting process too. Like, if you love the game, you will love playing for me. If you're just doing this because it's a full ride, it's not.
It's going to be a problem.
Yeah,
it's going to be a problem.
That's fine. We can agree to disagree. I want you to be happy in your endeavors, and I want you, you know, we only get one shot at this thing called life. And so, you know, I want you to make the best decision. And I can be okay with, you know, you being honest and saying, hey, that probably isn't for me. I'm glad you're honest now because I don't want to deal with it in 6 months.
Definitely. We got a couple people listening, and Coach Dub out of Winston, get to know him. Good guy. He's the girls coach out of Winston in the net sack. He's asking, could he see practice plans of yours?
Oh, I wish I brought some home. So little thing that I was taught early on is keep a binder of your practice plans and always refer to them. So I have them, you know, from the last 6 years that I've been coaching in college ball. And every year I'll flip back. And this year was a little different because of COVID. I can't go to the beginning and be like, oh, I should be here at this point, you know, and kind of gauge it with the other teams. But it just kind of shows you and reminds you of like, oh, there's this drill. You know, if I need a rebounding drill, here's this drill. Recently we've been really trying to make sure that we're in shape. Me getting 3 kids back off of COVID. 1 kid had to go in quarantine until we made sure she was negative. She was out for 4 days. So we've really been trying to do this back and forth exercise of making them gassed and then have to make them focused and then gassing them and then focusing them. And that's been us for, you know, the first 45 minutes of every practice. And then we'll really get down to, you know, new plays and breakdown of scout and so forth. But that first 45 minutes, I mean, we're really just handing it to them right now. That I would definitely tell you, hold on to your practice plans. If you want to see one, I will make sure. Actually, I'll give you my.
He can DM you. I'll send him your Twitter. He can DM you.
Yeah, email me. I'd be happy to send you a picture of the practice plans, a couple of them. But we try to stick to them. But I always think too, be okay with altering, your practice plan. It's just like a game. Like you go in with an idea of here's what I'm doing in this game. But if it's not working, you got to be okay with altering it and making adjustments and changing practice. Pretty sure I took out like 4 drills in practice today because, one of these drills we just weren't getting the way I wanted us to. And so I really wanted to make sure that we mastered that before we moved on. And I think that's okay to be okay. And you have to remind your kids that it's okay to be uncomfortable too. And because my kids were uncomfortable as heck in that first drill.
So you just grabbed something, and I like what you said. So you have to be open to altering your plans because, like I said, this isn't a traditional year. Number one, number two. I see you, Dom. I see you. So one of the things, and with us running the AAU program, like we were thinking about that as well, where it's a situation where it's going to be different this year. It's not where, okay, February's tryouts, March, we're going to start ramping up. We don't know. We may have to adjust some things because the tournament season may be a little different because of COVID. So I'm assuming you have a traditional, okay, you guys are here in August. This is what we're going to do, and ramping up until November. And I'm sure you've altered that a couple times.
We have. To be honest, I've not been as scout heavy, and a lot of that is taking over a new program. You really want to make sure that you're focused on you first and then them second. And I just don't know if we have us down yet because of COVID and injuries. And I can't even tell you how we're going to gel right now because I just haven't seen all of us on the court at the same time. So that's really been a push for me this year with my staff is we're really focused on us, as a staff. We usually know the ins and outs and this kid subbing in and that kid subbing out. And so we've paid more attention to the scout per se. But yeah, we've had to make adjustments and right, wrong, or indifferent. It's been hard, but I would encourage, especially for AAU, I think when we were able to go out and see some games, for us Division II people at the end of July, it just wasn't very good ball. And a lot of that was, I think, and again, this is speculation, but I think you just were kind of throwing it on the wall and seeing what stuck. And a lot of that was they weren't in shape. They hadn't been able to play with each other. But then, as a coach for me, my first thing when I got them back here was we're going to go back to fundamentals. So we did ball handling. We did defensive stance. We did, wall sits. My poor kids were doing wall sits to make sure that they still knew what a defensive stance should look like, and really broke it down. Like this is the expectation. And really, we took 2 weeks off because of quarantine going into our first game. And I don't know if I could tell you if we had more than 5 sets in for that first game offensively. So what I told them was concepts. The concept for us was our spacing, and they knew our spacing, and here, have at it. And this is what we're doing. And I really focused on the defensive schemes because those are things that, you can only alleviate so much. And so we really worked on the defensive side. And that's probably been our biggest thing moving forward is I had a team last year where we got halfway through the season and I hated our defense. I hated everything about it. And in order to get them to buy in, I knew we were really good offensively with or without my plays. And so I told them, y'all can have offense. You can call plays if you want. You can move without the ball. You can just get set up in motion and do whatever. But if I allow you to do this, you're going to play my defense. And sure enough, we went on a run, made the state tournament, and they did phenomenal. But again, knowing your team and knowing what they can handle, I wouldn't bring my team in and hope that they knew 10 sets like the back of their hand. Like I would probably take it back to Remember the Titans and run them, split like Novocaine and, 5, and we know they work every time because we know them. We could do them in our sleep. So, that's what I would do is really focus on the individual, bring them together as a team, and just give them a few concepts and see what they can do with them.
I have 2 more questions for you. One of them is pertinent. So it's kind of a 2-part question. The first one, what type of D do you play? Do you prefer man? Do you prefer zone? What do you prefer?
I prefer man. I'm a huge man-to-man. I love it. We were looking to get a little bit more up and down this year, but again, injuries, COVID, not having a deep bench. I mean, my first game, we walked in with 8 players. 2 were coming off ACLs and got cleared that week. And I was like, y'all can't play more than 15 minutes in this game if we're lucky. So really, we walked in with 6. So, that that has really hurt me on how we are going to be able to play people defensively. I like, full court, dropping back into man-to-man. Are we doing, 1 through 4? Are we switching 1 through 5? Are we not switching at all? Are we high hedging, flat hedging? Are we icing? So I really, but
Yeah.
I've been known to do a little 2-3. I actually drove one of my best friends, pretty much insane one time with randomly throwing a 2-3 at her, and she never would have seen it coming. And to this day, she's like, "How do I break that?" And I'm like, "I'm never telling you my secret on that defense," because again, she had a shooting team, and you wouldn't have run a 2-3 against it. But when that as a coach, like who would play 2-3 against us? You never put 2-3 stuff in, and so it's just kind of this massive explosion. So yeah, I'm definitely man. But again, I'm all about your team, like knowing your team. If I do a man-to-man team this year, and then next year I'm like, wow, we're really long and lanky, and we're going to play a 1-3-1 because it vibes with this team and this mix up that we got going on. And so I try and adapt and whatever the kids believe in and buy into, that's what we're going to do, because I could say, oh, we're going to be really good at 2-3, but if they don't believe in it, it's not going to work.
That's true. Now, which leads into the second part of this question, and I don't care if it's women's or men's basketball, and I know you're going to give a great answer for this. How important is it coming out of high school to know the basic fundamentals of the shell drill?
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's such a good question, because I actually was talking to somebody the other day and they brought up shell drill and they kind of laughed, and I'm like, yeah, I run shell drill almost every day. And you'd be amazed at how many kids don't understand shell drill. I think it's a staple. I remember doing it. I had to have been in 5th or 6th grade, but when we first started doing shell, the one thing I have found though with my team this year is when you keep players stationary offensively, and then you have, players defensively moving around them, they start to kind of key on the drill and not really understanding the concept. And so what I've been doing now is like, we'll put 2 in the corner and then set a high ball screen. And then as she goes from left to right, now you have to see the rotation, and you see her drop from, like, we don't help from ball side corner. So she has to drop from denial all the way to the baseline.
Oh, okay.
You're on ball. Then you have low in the eye, because that opposite help is low in the eye. And then
you're putting a variation of it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so then they have to think the game, because I remember one of my kids, the first game, came over and she was like, but the wall went from this side to that side. And I'm like, yeah, so you just went from 1 pass away to 2+ passes away. So what are you in now? Oh, yeah. So as she came off that screen, I should have went from denial to help. And I'm like, bingo. That's exactly.
Now, and the last tier part of that question, a person that comes in that knows the shell drill, I understand, yes, scoring is nice to have, but is that shell drill going to get them out on the floor if they have a better understanding of it coming in? And let's just say they're a freshman and they can understand that, they can box out, they can rebound. Would you prefer that over scoring?
Yes, but interestingly enough, I have this exact kid on my roster, and if she watches, she'd tell you the exact same thing. She is phenomenal at shell drill. She knows it like the back of her hand. She came from a phenomenal program. She is a great kid.
Okay.
He does not talk.
Okay.
So she is very, very good. But for her older kids playing above her, she does not instill the confidence that she knows what she's doing. I know she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. But the other kids don't, because they're on the floor with her and they don't know, hey, is she switching here? Hey, is she bumping here? What is she doing? So she knows it in her head. She sees it all develop. But the talking aspect has been a problem. So, I would definitely say you definitely need to pick up on your coach's vocabulary. And I think every coach has different vocabulary, because then, if that whole team is on that same vocabulary in the middle of a quarter, I could say, hey, where's my low in the eye? And everybody's going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Whereas if 5 of us call that 5 different things, and they're going to be like, what was low in the eye? So I think that's really, really important. Cause I truly believe, I've told this kid before, like, you get that down. I never, the kid can score offensively as well, but I don't really look for that. Like, she's just such a solid defender, and she's so good at doing the things that other people overlook that I mean, she's earned everything I've ever given her, except for, like I said, the communication. And I think that comes with confidence when she knows what she's talking about and she feels comfortable in her position, and not being one of the younger ones on the team. I think that's going to come in time.
I just want to say this. We have a portion after the show is over where we say somebody has dropped a gem. You have just dropped a gem for people to hear. I mean, trust me, we're in such a world where everybody thinks people have to score 25 or 30 to get noticed. And that is so not the case. And to hear you say that, I mean, of course, I led you into this, but for you to say it so parents and players can understand, listen, you don't have to be that 30-point scorer or 20-point. 9 times out of 10, you're rarely going to get a call for you as a freshman. If you can come in there and impact the game in a different way, this is how you're going to increase your minutes. And you just basically gave the golden key to that. And I thank you. Last question for you as well. And thank you so much. Why Lincoln University, Missouri?
For my future recruits that we're talking to right now?
Correct. Yes.
Because it's unlike anything you'll ever see. I think top to bottom, athletic department truly, truly cares. I think administration cares as well. Jefferson City has that Midwest vibe where you know that you're always going to be taken care of. You know, our athletic director here has done a phenomenal job in growing our booster club. We're almost at 500 people, which is huge.
Nice.
And I think as a staff, I tell kids all the time, and it's happened, and it's really, really sad for me, even for some of my players. Like, they've gone and done the D1 thing. And it's, like I said, it's not for everybody. But I know at the end of the day, like, I'm going to love my kids, and I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make sure they succeed on and off the court and they grow as a person. I'm rather young now, I think, myself. And, I'm still learning and growing. And I tell them that all the time. Like, I learn from you guys as much as you learn from me. But there is an endless amount of love and ability to, take care of one another. And so I truly relish the opportunity to, get to bring them to be a part of that family and that atmosphere and that culture. And make sure that they're taken care of. And it doesn't stop here. I mean, like I said, they call me in 10 years. They call me in 20 years. I've already got multiple kids that I've coached. And this is only my 3rd year head coaching, but I have multiple kids that are like, can I come be your assistant? And in a heartbeat, I mean, I would do it.
That speaks volumes.
Yeah,
that speaks volumes.
Because they're great kids and they know what we're trying to do here. I'm okay with sleeping at night. Maybe this year we don't do very well and it's a tough year for us. And maybe next year we're only 500. Hopefully for my own sanity, the next year after that, we're a contender. But I'm okay with sleeping at night if I have made an impact, past the 4 years of being here at Lincoln. I want them to feel loved. I want them to know that someone truly cared. I want them to know that someone will always be in their corner. And so for me, that's why I'm choosing Lincoln 100% hands down. I know there are good people that will do that for them. And I know I'm willing to go the distance and do that for them. So.
Hey, listen, I'm sold too, Doug. I'm sold too. I mean, and I'm going to get up there to see you guys play. And just off of what you guys are doing, I know in due time, it's going to all come together. Coach Mize, I appreciate you so much. And this won't be the last time you'll be on the show, but definitely thank you. Atlanta, definitely pay attention. You have somebody that can coach and is going to treat your child like one of their own. Definitely. Thank you for coming on. We will definitely be in touch. You take care, okay?
I appreciate it. Feel free to reach out, email me, text me, whatever needs to be done. I'm more than happy to help in any way I can. And thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. You take care, okay?
All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Coach Mize, definitely incredible coach, up and coming. If you're looking for an experience in playing the game the right way, she gave you guys some good game and some good knowledge. Definitely. Dove, I know you gonna hear. I know you already got everything. You're gonna be asking for that number before it's over with. Dove, I know. Trust me, I know. Our next guest, good brother, I just recently met, and he's on the D3 side. And, like I said, I've been advocating D3, NAI, D2. Last week was a D1 week. And, I mean, I I don't discriminate for anything. D1, JUCO. I'm going to have every coach from every level on here because I want all of you all to understand, just like what she described from a D2 level, understand this. That is no different than a D1 coach. I want you to understand that. She is giving you the knowledge. She knows the game. She knows what she's doing. So understand, if you're at a D2, it's not like you're getting cheated. So we're going to bring our next guest on. Coach White, what's going on? How you doing, brother?
Doing? Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk to you finally on your podcast.
I know. Man, it's good to finally catch up with you, man.
Yes,
You're up
sir.
there at University of Wisconsin Stout.
Yes, in the WIAC conference.
In the WIAC conference, and this is your first year up there, right?
Yes, it is. It's I was blessed. Quick story. Our head coach Jim Lake was at Ferris State. He's basically from the Michigan area. Won a national championship at Ferris State University. We actually coached in the same travel program, but he left before I got there, and he had a chance to watch me coach after I left the same travel program, and we just kind of built a relationship. You're going to hear me say that word about 30 times in this podcast for me.
No. And I'm going to agree with you because our relationship was online before it got to this, right?
Yes, it was.
And it's blossomed to this. So I'm an advocate for relationships. Trust me.
So Coach Lake had an idea to help branch out his recruiting and not just be a little bit different in our conference and in the country. And wanted somebody with some recruiting experience, some experience helping get players and build a program to take it where he wants to go. And he said, I got an idea, but if it doesn't work with you, I'm not going to do it. But I'll have an idea for you, and I want to see if you look at it. And because of our relationship, I couldn't turn it down. And it's been a blessing, honestly.
Okay, nice. So let me ask you, so you just said you came from the AAU world or high school world?
So I was at Kalamazoo College for like 10 or 11 years, but I also, the luxury of coaching Division III is you can still coach AAU. So I had the opportunity to coach with the Grand Rapids Storm and Grand Rapids, Michigan for 4 or 5 years. And the best part about that was you get to see all the players and you get to coach most of them and do things with them you can't. So some of the guys I got to coach in travel basketball actually got to coach the college I was at. So it was a win-win for me for sure. You're kind of recruiting and working with them at the same time.
Okay, nice. So what is your end goal? So are you looking in the future, you want to be, I'm sure you want to be a head coach, no matter what level it is, right?
Yeah, I think my end goal is to be somewhere where I can help impact people's young men's lives for the next 40 years, not the next 4, and help cultivate and be in a program where relationships are number one, and also be somewhere where education is important and can help guys grow and become better citizens and kind of help leave it better than I found it. I've always been taught to leave the situation better than you find it. And I think one day I'll have a chance to move over 6 inches, but that's not my plan. That's God. So I'll just keep working hard and we'll see where I fall.
Amen to that. So with that being said, just touching on, educate me on Wisconsin Stout. I mean, I know it's a D3 program. I know you play in the WIAC. Tell me some more about it. I mean, this is your introduction to Atlanta.
Well, to be honest, to be biased, I think it's one of the best Division III leagues in the country. We've had top players come from all the way from, Bo Ryan was the head coach at Wisconsin Platteville. We've got schools like Stevens Point, but Stout is on its up-and-coming program. We have abundance of good talent coming in. We have abundance of players from all over the Midwest, not just Wisconsin. Of course, that's where I come in. Our style of play is kind of open. We like to play, 8, 9, 10 guys, sometimes maybe 10 or 11, 12, depending on the games you're going. But the one thing we are committed to is building our players. We're all about player development. So we don't need to come in and we go out and get the top number 1 players. We try to get the kids that fit. So if you're a young man who your skill set may not be where you think it is right away, we might be a program for you because we're going to try to you're going to get better once you get here. And that's going to be the main thing we focus on.
Okay. And I like that. So when you say fit, what type of style? Yes, and I agree with that. I've seen some of those Wisconsin kids, those D3 schools. They are huge. They are definitely huge. Yep. What type of style does Stout? Is it you said you played 9-10, so I'm assuming you guys are getting up and down the floor.
Yeah, we like to get up and down, and we like to play man-to-man defense. We like to pick up the full court a little bit. It all depends. Very scout specific. But one thing we like to do is share the basketball. We have a very good point guard returning this year, who's a Division II transfer who we think is going to be pretty special. We have other returning players that have gotten better during the offseason to help improve our team. So our style of play kind of varies on our players, but we like to share the basketball with some motion concepts. We believe in teaching the game, not just running a bunch of sets. So we spend a lot of time 2-on-2, 3-on-3 in practice trying to develop our player skill set and getting them playing together so some continuity. You know, when a play breaks down, there's 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. What do? You don't got the time looking over at us. You know,
that's a great point. That's a great point right there. And I want to touch on what we talked to Coach Mize about. How important is it to come into stout and know that shell drill and defensive principles?
Well, I think that I listened to her whole part. I agree with her 100%. But to add onto that, I think it's important to understand the importance of how to guard. So I want to break it all. Let's peel it all the way back. Let's play some 2-on-2. Let's play some 1-on-1.
Yes.
Before we get to shell drill, can you get in a stance and cut somebody off going left to right?
Yes.
Can you guard?
Preach it.
Can you get through a screen without getting hit? You know, good defenders don't get screened. So if you're a good defender, you're not getting screened because you're always aware of what's going on. So a lot of times, it's important to shell drill is you got to, as an assistant coach, you got to take that freshman who's struggling and really break down their stance, their feet, their hands, their hips, their closeouts, all that stuff, and really peel the layers back and say, this is why you struggle in shell drill. You can't get in a stance for longer than 4 seconds. Or every time there's a down screen, you're getting drilled. At the small college level, we set more flare screens and back screens at any level possible. Okay. You know, you go to a high school game next time, watch how many flare screens are not set. You come to a DC game in Wisconsin, you're going to see a ton of flare screens. It's one of the hardest guards, one of the hardest screens to defend. And freshmen come in not knowing how to play off the flare screen, how to guard.
And they struggle.
And they
struggle, right? Yeah.
And then slipping screens is huge. The screener diving in the basket and you're off the ball, but all those things you can break down in 2-on-2 and 1-on-1 and 3-on-3 before you get to shell drill. You know, so that's the importance.
Nice. I like that. I like that. So we're going to step away from, because if we go into philosophies, we'd be here to 10 o'clock. Trust me, we'd be here to 10 o'clock talking more about stout. What do you guys have coming in this year? What are you looking for? How many games are you going to play this year?
Well, our official schedule hasn't been announced, but we're going to play a modified league schedule. It's going to be broken up in 2 sections. It hasn't been an official announcement yet, and I'm always one of those guys. Until it's official, I don't know. So I know we're going to play our conference games only. I know we're going to start in February. I know our guys are excited to play. I know our coaching staff is excited to get to play against somebody else. I know our players are going to be excited to play against somebody else that are practicing against each other. I do know our league is very, very, very consistent, very talented. We get a lot of transfers in our league. It's Division I transfers, Division II transfers, because there's only one Division II school in the state of Wisconsin. And there's only a couple of Division I schools and a few NAI. So the WIAC is really the predominant league in the state. So
and that's why you guys are always like in the top of the rankings in Wisconsin for D3, because, you know, that talent pool up there for D3. And let's be honest, a lot of D2s and low majors don't want to play y'all.
No, we don't. Very rarely do WIAC schools get that exhibition by first game of the year. You rarely see. You will see some, but not very many. What they call schools in our league to play, because we might roll out with 4 or 5 scholarship transfers who you'll think it's funny, like they go away to school and come back to Wisconsin because it's closer to home, or they go away to school and have a situation they have to come back. So a lot of our roster, you know, depends. Of course, with Chicago being so close, Detroit, Indianapolis, St. Louis, you know, you get kids that, you know, really want to come play. Minnesota's 90 minutes from us, so the Twin Cities. If you look at our roster,
so listen to what you just said. So you just said you're picking off Minneapolis, St. Louis, Chicago,
Detroit,
and Detroit. Those are basketball meccas.
Yes.
And you're picking off, you know, sometimes they end up in your hands because they went D1 and for whatever reason it didn't work, or they went D2 for whatever reason they didn't work. And I want to ask you this, and I know you know the answer to this. You guys, especially in the WIAC, have kids that are going professionally and playing overseas, correct?
Correct.
And not just a once every 10-year type of deal.
No,
on a regular basis.
There's a huge camp in Chicago and one in St. Louis. There's actually one in Atlanta that we've sent players to, and players from our league have gone to and done well. And, the people that are from small D1s or D2s down there at the camps are like, well, what school did you go to? What level is it? D3. And you go, yeah, I'm a 6'5" 2 guard, and I played a D3 school.
Exactly. And what you're saying right now, I've been so adamant to have D3 schools. And it wasn't just to say, oh, I'm trying to prop this up. I'm trying to say you all need to hear what I'm saying. There's some killers on D3.
Yes,
definitely.
Small college basketball. And in the coaching, Greg Popovich is a Division III guy. Bo Ryan used to be coach of Wisconsin, is a Division III guy. So the level of the coaching in our league is, Greg Gard, who's the head coach of Wisconsin, his brother is a coach at Wisconsin at one of our schools in our league. So our coaching is really, really good.
So
really,
it's kind of like the breeding ground to go to the next level, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Man, if y'all listening out here, y'all need to pay attention, and y'all need to keep Kevin White's number definitely, because it's not a cheap brand of basketball. Not only is it good basketball, you're going to have opportunities outside of school as well if you can play. If you're going up to Wisconsin in D3, it's serious up there. You better go with your shoes tied.
And at Stout, for example, you can come get your master's here. We have 10,000 students. So let me reiterate that. For the parents that are listening that all really, really push education, you can come up here and get in our one of our undergraduate programs and stay and get your master's and be done in 5 years or 6 years and be all done with school at one place, or transfer to University of Wisconsin-Madison and go to law school, or go be a doctor, or things you want to do, or our engineering is huge, our computer science is huge, and right now those fields are of need are young employees, engineering, computer science. So
definitely,
Polytechnic is our breeding. What we do at Stout, you got to have those jobs right now. That's what they're hiring, and they're paying. All the parents out there
paying well.
We don't want your son to come to Stout, go to school for 4 years, and then move home and have to find a job. We're going to help you find one. If playing isn't an option, we're going to help you either get in the master's program or help you find a job or get you something to get you started on in your life. Again, this is a 40-year investment. This isn't a 4-year investment. You got to make sure, I'm not selling a product that I don't believe in. You want to make sure in this society, we also got going on, that we produce college graduates that go on and play still or get their job. And some even get into coaching, which for me was the road I went when I was done with school.
Okay. And that was going to be my next topic for you, because you kind of piqued my interest when you said you came from the AAU route, even though you did do JUCO as well. Give me that path that you took to get to where you're at now. Well, outside of relationships.
Yeah, my story is pretty interesting because I played junior college and I'm 5'9". So I played 2 years at JUCO, then started coaching at Kalamazoo College. I've been small college my whole career, and I've been doing this for 20 years. But the nice thing about coaching in small colleges, with recruiting and the rules and all these big time tournaments, instead of going and sitting in a gym by myself in a bubble at AU that all these D1 Division I coaches, I go sit with them. So I make contacts with guys at Michigan and Butler and Georgia Tech, and I'm at all the EYBL stuff. Now, I may not be sitting next to Coach K, but I'm in the gym in the same facility.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm trying to pick their brains to get information about, what works for them, what doesn't work for them, how they recruit, how they play, style of play, and you build those networks. I was blessed to be able to work some camps and work hoop group or do some things where you're at the table.
Definitely.
Any young coach that's listening to this, if this COVID stuff gets somewhere to the point where we can have camps and you need to go work hoop group. Any young coach that's listening to this, hoop group for me as a coach has been a blessing. And their loyalty, it's like it's a second family. And there was a stretch where I wasn't getting any looks to get a coaching job. And they were like, hey, we got the insight on this. We have to track on this. And I was like, why are you guys helping me out? I've only worked. He goes, you're a hoop group guy. Once you're a hoop group guy, you're always a hoop group guy. So that relationship has been very vast. And it helps me because they're on the East Coast. So if you start to see kids from Stout from New York and New Jersey.
I know where they came from. I know where they were referred from.
We're referred from, yep. Just like we need kids from Georgia. We'll take all the kids from Georgia we can get. South Carolina, North Carolina, bring your snow boots. We do have snow. I'm not going to lie to you. We do have snow.
Now that's going to be an adjustment for them. That's definitely going to be an adjustment.
But there's no snow in the gym. So if you're in the gym or you're in class, you don't have to worry about it snowing.
You're right. You're right. And man, that's an interesting thing. And your analogy of that, and I mean the whole hoop group and what you're talking about, you have a tenacity, and that was a situation where you weren't going to be denied. Like I said, you did camps. You're down at EYBL. You're steadily trying to perfect your craft, and
Right.
you know you always get a salute from me. And like I said, even when we started to stay in touch, you're like, "Hey, coach, how you doing? This, that, and the other." And hey, man, how you doing? And and as we got to talk more, I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring you on the show because just us talking, I was like, oh yeah, you make a lot of sense. And I want to have you on the show." And for me, I mean, forget an opportunity. I mean, you're giving game. I mean, it was a blessing to have you on the show, but I mean, what you're talking just makes 100% sense, and you know what you're talking about, and it's something I scream and holler about, but you only back when I'm talking, and I definitely appreciate that. And I do have some more questions for you. Do you guys take post-grad players?
Oh, yeah. We'll take post-grad. We'll take JUCO. If you want to come, if you want to come bleed blue, get a hold of me. But you gotta love it though. It's a 365 thing. It's not 24/7. It's 3-6. It's every day. And you got to bleed blue in the classroom. You got to bleed blue in the off season because in Division III, remember, we can't touch you for certain parts of the year. So you got to love the game so much to get into the gym on your own. It's a part of your day. It's like brushing your teeth. It's like combing your hair. I got to get in the gym today. It might sound a little sales pitchy, but to be good in our league, we got guys that are in our conference that are in the gym all the time. I mean, I know that the winningest programs right now. You look at it, the teams that are struggling. I wonder how much those guys are getting in the gym. We're trying to trend up, and to trend up, we got to change our habits and change our pattern. And with good players want to surround themselves with other good players. We just need one kid from Georgia. We need one kid from Georgia that comes and loves it, and all of a sudden we'll start getting more and more and more and more kids from Georgia.
Of course, because once one person sees that culture and they come home and talk about it, like I said, the seed is planted.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, getting into what you're saying from a pitch standpoint, of course, we know this is D3. It's going to be easier, I'm going to assume, or I know the answer to this, but if I'm not a high academic kid, because I'm going to get merit money that way from the D3, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, I hope you're not uncomfortable with this. What are we looking at tuition-wise at UW Stout?
I mean, it's a range, but it's not. I mean, it's again, that's a 40-year investment. The education you're going to get, the class size. You're not going to be in a lecture hall with 70 students and a TA teaching through a Zoom monitor. You're not going to have library closing at 10. You got to be there till 2 typing a paper. I mean, you're between 10 and 15. I mean, but it all depends on what you do in the classroom. But again, before we even get to that point, the money piece. Before we even talk about the money piece, we got to make sure academically you've taken the classes. I got to see the transcript right away.
Oh, definitely. No question.
And if you're, let's say you're a 3-5, but you got 4 gyms and 3 art classes.
Yeah, those aren't core classes.
Those aren't core classes.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have a serious conversation about your major after you apply. Like, what are you looking at doing? You should ask. People should be asking these coaches, like, how often do we have study hall? What do we do when we're on the road and we study? If I have a test or a quiz and practice at the same time, what do I do? If you get, let me get back to you. Let me check on that, and then please look at our roster. You'll look right now that you'll see our starting point guard is Amani Tinsley, and he's the senior. So if you're a point guard in high school right now and you want an opportunity, it's huge. I mean,
so what you're saying is outside of being recruited, you're saying that a lot of recruits need to start doing their own research, right?
Yeah, and then have the conversation with the coaches to make sure that what you're looking for, it fits. You wouldn't buy a house without walking through it.
Definitely. That's a great point. That's a great point.
To put on bottom line numbers, I think we're 26 out of state and we're 19-7 most of the Midwest.
Okay.
So I mean, I know places that are double that.
Yes, I do too.
And the roster has 40 guys on and a JV. We have one team.
Okay.
And you got to crack that. You got to crack that, and you got to be willing to work, but you got to love the process. I mean, most good programs, 7, 8, 9 freshmen, you haven't had that since the Fab Five. So,
okay. Now, we're going to get down to the nitty gritty a little bit outside of academics, and we just briefly touched on that. Well, let me ask this real quick. So, to get into UW Stout, what are we talking? Are we talking 3.0 and up? Are we talking below 3.0? Are we talking 3.5? What is UW Stout's expectations for admissions?
We're in the 3.0 range. We're also looking at your core classes, and we're making sure that
Yes.
What we don't want, and this is why I love Coach Lake and the staff. What he doesn't want to do is see that you're going to come to college and you're going to struggle. Because if you're struggling academically, it's really going to be a struggle to do basketball.
Okay.
So we got to have that conversation.
Okay.
I mean, 2.5 to 3.5, depending on the program, is what we're trying to go for. But we're also trying to make sure that you have study habits, you have a balance, and you understand the rigors of because college basketball isn't like high school. In Division III, we're October to March. And then we're traveling and we're practicing games and that kind of stuff. We're not trying to have someone academically who doesn't love to study, doesn't understand the importance of studying and going to class and that kind of stuff. And we'll work with you too. Every student situation is different, but
yes.
We want to build a relationship with the high school coach, mom and dad, family, friends. I'll talk to the janitor. That's the nice thing.
Okay, good. So we're gonna talk a little basketball real quick. So, with you being the recruiting coordinator there / assistant coach, how big are you guys on player development?
Oh, it's a staple. In all my conversations I've had with our head coach and guys on staff, looking at a high school student right now, where can he be in 2 years? Where can he be in 3 years? Who on our team does he remind you of?
Okay.
Okay. Can he come in and fit what we do for this role? Can he play off the ball? Can he play off the screens? Can he guard multiple positions? How is his basketball IQ? When you talk to his coach and ask them what kind of offense they run, if you walk it up and run flex in the picket fence and you play zone the whole time, Stout may not be the best fit for you because we're going to throw some stuff at you and you might be swimming as a freshman.
That's expected a lot of times anyways. Yeah. Yep. Freshmen are going to have to adjust. And I get what you're saying because you're throwing the variations of a lot of schemes out there. So they're going to have to learn on the fly as well because some of the stuff they didn't pick up in high school outside of the really good programs, right?
And a really good player in high school. I mean, he walks out there and he knows the high school coach is like, hey, you got to score 20 tonight. So you're going to guard the 3-man who doesn't shoot very much for their team because you can't get in foul trouble. When you get to college, especially at the small college level, everybody can shoot it. All 5 guys can play. We can't hide you in man-to-man because the coaches are so good. They're going to find you that your defensive weakness, and they're going to go at you, and they're going to attack you. So,
especially in the WIAC. Again, it's no knock on any other conference. There are some good D3 conferences, but like we've talked about before, the WIAC is something different. I mean, you know how we always talk low major, high D2. I wouldn't even say the WIAC is a high D3. It's really a D2 conference talent-wise.
We'll take
and
that.
People don't get that, because I'm sure plenty D2s be like, no, we're not playing them. Mm-mm.
No, and the nice thing about it is, we're working very hard to be in the conversation, to move up in the rankings, to make some noise. And our kids are understanding the importance of how much work they got to do in. And Coach Lake's doing a tremendous job of keeping it, during the pandemic, keeping our focus on what it needs to be on, but also keeping it safe, and that's the most important thing, But, it's easy when you're working for someone you can call a friend who also, is the father. He's not going to put himself in jeopardy or the kids. And basketball is important, but education and health right now is the most important thing. And don't push the issue. But our league has done a very good job of, putting things in perspective, not rushing to make step decisions and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, one last good question for you, and I definitely appreciate you. You touched on it a little bit. Why Stout? What if I'm a recruit? Why Stout?
Come run into the fire, baby. Come be different. Come be different.
Okay.
Come leave it better than you found it. If you're a player, you want to come be different. You want to be challenged. You want to be pushed. You want to be coached. You want to understand the importance of family. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't a family atmosphere. There's no way I would have worked with the staff and Coach Lake if there was 100% trust and loyalty in the relationship piece there. You know, I know down the road if I need something from Coach Lake, it's a phone call. And all of his players feel that way. And the people, when he was back in Michigan, spoke of him in high regard. And I will always tell any parent, he's going to coach you like he's one of your kids because he has kids of his own. And Stout is a place that you can come and work your tail off and reap the rewards. And we're going to be honest and we're going to be fair and we're going to make sure that you're taken care of on and off the court, you know, because that's what mom and dad wanted to make sure. Are you going to take care of my baby?
Oh, you know, that's going to be one of their main questions after you're selling. Are you going to take care of my baby? Definitely.
Right. I mean, I'm a grown man and my mom asked him if he was going to take care of his baby. So let me tell you, he will do that for sure. But, you know, it was a pleasure. I mean, if anybody needs any information from me, information on the school, I know it's kind of quick, but I want to appreciate you so much for doing this. I don't think people realize that during this time to get some questions answered without having to ask them. And maybe now this will link to a young man reaching out to me. And even if it doesn't lead to them coming to play for us, I'm more free to answer questions because right now kids are in limbo. If you're a 2021 or 22 student athlete, you're in limbo. You're not 100% sure. So this helps them. It can.
Man, and let me touch that what you're saying with the portal at 1,300 right now, and people transferring left and right. And so what I try and explain is, and I know you'll shake your head on this, like the 2021 guys got it rough because you talking transfers first, JUCO players, international players, then post grad, and then high school players. Outside of if you're a top 150 guy, because we know top 150 guys, you know, they're going to get those because some of them are one and dones and some of them are program changers. I get that. But for your normal guy that's all region or all conference, it's going to be tough.
Hi, I'm Coach White from UW Stout. Nice to meet you. Come bleed blue.
I got you. Hey, be careful that some of them will pull your card and ask about the program.
Yep. Send a transcript and a video and a phone number. And let's have a conversation. I mean, because at this point, you want the best experience for the next 4 years. I knew after my 2 years of junior college, I wanted to start coaching. I haven't stopped since. But a lot of people don't understand. Your clock is ticking.
Yes.
So get the best experience out of it. But not only that, when you leave there, you left your marketing program and they're going to still consider you family once you're gone.
Yes.
So coach, need a reference for a job. Coach, now I'm getting older. Coach, I'm getting married. Coach, I'm having a baby. Coach, like that's why you get into all this. You know, don't just go, it's about just playing. You'll remember the bus trips home from wherever and how bad the pizza was over wins and losses in 20 years. I mean, anybody who played can tell a story about, man, this one bus trip, the bus broke down and we had to wait to gas it. Like, you're not going to remember that misled. I mean, it's all about perspective. So make it the best experience you can. And don't just assume that it's small college, that's automatically going to be a bad experience. It might be the best experience for you because that was the time and that's where the good Lord sent you. I mean, that's just how it happens.
Definitely. That's a great point you brought up. Hey, man, Coach White, man, I appreciate you, man. Like I said, we've only been, getting to know each other. And trust me, you're going to have the Atlanta community hungry to inquire and be intrigued more about what's going on with this Stout program.
Yes.
And as you can see in some of the comments where they say some of the guys in Wisconsin and Minnesota are huge, some of them already know because fortunately we have a very educated basketball culture down here. So a lot of the fans pay attention to outside of Georgia. So you will be on the radar. Trust me.
Perfect. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to getting some Atlanta emails and texts and calls. My phone is always on. I think they'll get an understanding of we really want to be a difference maker in our league, and we want to help change young men's lives. That's why we're in this business.
Okay. Yeah. And, anytime you come down, by all means, let me know, man. I'll be looking for you. Definitely.
It was the plan for the Final Four, Dave. It was the plan. I was going to
Oh,
tell you. It was
man,
the plan.
I'm still mad about that.
I know. We got to find a way to get it. The Atlanta Final Four has to happen. Someone's got to get bumped off the list.
It'll be after, 2027 till they pick again?
And we pick again. It's too long. I really felt bad for the city and the people down there, and the high school coaches and the kids and the players to have the Final Four. I mean, it would have been great.
Trust me, what they had planned for Atlanta from a coaching perspective and the Coaches Association of Georgia, trust me, you would have loved what they had planned, man. Trust me.
Yeah, we got to find a way. I vote to wait to get it back sooner than later. How about that?
I do too. Do too, man. Hey, man, like I said, man, I definitely appreciate you. This will not be the last time you're on the show, man. And best of luck for the rest of the season, man. And we'll be talking real soon, okay?
Sounds good. Yep. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care.
You too.
All right. Coach White, definitely one of the good guys and definitely one of the up-and-coming coaches. Even at a D3, you can see how basketball is. Don't take it for granted that you're at a smaller school that, they don't do X, they don't do Y, they don't do Z. They play the game, as you can see from both my guests tonight. They're very well educated in the game. They know what they're doing. So you can't walk in there and think, I'm going D3, I'm going to throw up 30. Wrong. You're going to be put in schemes, and you're going to be just as confused as if you were in the D1 program. My next guest, definitely just met him not too long ago at the IMG Classic. Definitely a good guy. His program for post-grad, for kids that are looking for post-grads, I'm going to call that at some point the IMG of the Midwest coming up. He plays extremely hard, and he's a great coach. Coach, how you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. Love to be on.
Oh, man, good to have you on, man. Like I said, when I met you down at IMG, I was thoroughly impressed. I told you that after the game. When I saw you guys play IMG, you did a phenomenal job coaching. I mean, it was evident they had, my gosh. We know IMG and they're going to get the horses, but what you played and how you guys played all the way down to 4 minutes, the NBA scouts were sitting there like, wow, these guys played really good. And let's be honest, when I walked over you, I said, man, you're one big that they had because they were just relentless coming at you guys. And you guys just really ran out of gas, really. And that was to me, that was one of the best games of the whole tournament when you guys played IMG. And like I said, I came back. For me, when I see post-grads of that nature, I came back to Atlanta like, hey, you need to pay attention to Link here. I like these guys, and they play the right way.
Yeah.
And not only do they play the right way, what you stood for as we talked for, about 30, 40 minutes in between games, and your principles, what you stand for, and you're not going to take any nonsense just for the sake of being good. That's what impressed me as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. One, Chad Myers and IMG do a phenomenal job, and you hit it on the head. We ran out of gas, but obviously they've been around a long time, and they do it the right way. And as you know, in the post-grad world, a lot of it comes being able to get players that are in that pocket that you can get for a year, and they got 3, 4, 5 stars on their team, and so
yes,
we're trying to convince coaches that we're developing guys from 3 to 4 stars. And so we've always taken pride, David, in the fact that we're development U. And so we take a lot of guys that went under the radar, and then we'll go compete against the 5 stars, and we'll do what we did like you saw. And so for somebody like you to take notice of how hard we've been working and doing it the right way, it just means a lot. So I appreciate that.
Oh, man, anytime. Respect is always deserved when you're doing it the right way. Now, one thing we want to introduce you to the Atlanta community. Tell us where Link Gear is located at.
Yeah, Branson, Missouri, also known as Hillbilly Vegas, for those of the people that know. And so, we're in Branson, and a lot of people wonder how we ended up in Branson. And we're connected with a sports camp that runs in the summer called Kanakuk Camps, and so they've been around since 1926. And so it's one of the largest sports camps in North America. And so that's how we ended up in Branson, Missouri.
Nice, nice. So with Link Year, how long have you guys been around? Give us a little bit more background on Link Year.
Yeah, thank you, David. So Link Year is actually in its 10th year, but for basketball, it's only its 6th. I played basketball at Boise State from 1998 to 2003, and I started with Coach Rod Jensen. After Rod Jensen, Greg Graham took over, and Greg Graham was my head coach. And so when I was starting Link Year, after coming off of being a high school basketball coach, Greg Graham gave me some of the best advice, David. He said, don't be one of those pop-up prep schools that don't have any academics and don't house kids and don't take care of kids and don't feed kids. He says, get everything in order so that with or without basketball, your school could run. And so that's what we did. So Link Year existed for 4 years with no basketball. And then we started basketball the 5th year, and now we're in the 6th year of basketball. And it was the best advice I could have taken, because even if we take away for the basketball program, Link Year prep still exists.
Exactly. And that's very important. And, you know, I understand everybody has vision, and I understand that, the intentions are pure from the heart, but sometimes the business plan is not there. And unfortunately, like you said, that's how pop-up shops come to be. And some of them have incredible teams for 1 or 2 years. You'll be like, oh my gosh, this team is good. And then it's, hey, what happened to this team? Oh yeah, they closed down. And at some point, as post-grad is growing, and there's going to be an emphasis on things being done the right way. And it's not always about D1 or D2. To me, it's about 100% placement. To me, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. And just seeing, I just met you, and just seeing how you guys run and just doing my own research, I said, man, yeah, I would send a kid here and not hesitate at all. And to see how hard you guys play, that lets me know I know practices are nothing nice, definitely. Because number one, you guys were in excellent shape to push IMG to the threshold of saying, hey, I mean, you had guys over there on the sideline because, at first they were like, oh, yeah, this is, they want to run away with this. And by the time the fourth quarter came, people were sitting down like, hey, man, they played some really good ball. And people were taking notes. And it was more than just schemes. It was desire. It was even how passionate the coach was on the sideline. I pay attention to all of that. I said, oh, man, yeah, this is a great program here. And that game was just phenomenal. That's why I said the IMG Link Year game, if it's still out there on, I don't know, did they live stream that?
Yeah, it's out there somewhere. I'm not sure where they put it, but they did, yeah.
If anybody can find that, watch it. If you see it on YouTube, please watch it. I guarantee you will be calling me saying that was an awesome game. Trust me.
Hey, I was passionate on the sidelines because they were getting some of those home cooked grits in IMG.
Well, are you going back? Are you going back next month?
I'm talking to Chad about it. We want to try to get down there for the what is it, the Battle of the Beach, the
beach blast. Yes, yeah. The beach blast. Okay, yeah. Okay. Are you coming to Atlanta?
You know what? We were going to go. TSF's doing their event.
Yes.
And so it's MLK weekend, and it didn't work out because the Bahamas opened back up, and we do a deal in the Bahamas every year where we go run some clinics with these kids and run a tournament.
Okay.
So Rob and I are really good friends, have nothing but the utmost respect for Rob Johnson and what he's doing at TSF and how well he's preparing those kids and treating those kids right. And so hopefully it's going to work out next year because I have so much respect for TSF and what he's doing there.
Listen, when you do come, you understand after being on the show, you're going to have people peeking to say, who's this Link Year team? We saw them on the podcast. I want to see what they're about.
I love that. Yeah, the people in Atlanta know their hoops. I love A-Town for that, man. They know their hoops.
Hey, and so we got a comment that was brought up, and we've talked about this. We talked about this extensively at IMG. Dr. Love put out there, we need that post-grad tournament national championship teams from the East, West, Midwest, and South to see who really is the best. Did we not talk about that?
Yeah, we did. We 100% did. I'm gonna tell you something crazy right here to think about. So in 2017, Brewster and Jason Smith, who does a phenomenal job with Brewster Academy, and they ran the table and they won the national championship. And that year, Sunrise Christian Academy was ranked number 4 in post-grad. And this was only our second year in existence. We beat Sunrise twice that year. Second time, we beat them by 20. And the Northeast gave us no attention, no respect, no ranking. And they had Sunrise number 4 that year. And the second time we beat them by 20. But that's 4 years ago. So now listen to this. On that roster that I had here, David, Mason Jones now with the Houston Rockets, DeAndre Jones, who is a 1,000-point scorer in D1, Hayden Koval, who's a 1,000-point scorer at D1 and the current leading shot blocker in the nation at UNCG, Denzier Carnes, who is a 1,000-point scorer, and Rylan Bergeson, who's going to end up being a 1,000-point scorer, and then 3 other guys that are Division I programs. And we couldn't get a sniff at any of the national tournaments that year. And all those guys are putting in that work. And I'm just saying, it's just crazy how it is. And I told you that, like, the Northeast should have some of the shoe in the market because that's where they're done. And they've got phenomenal talent, phenomenal programs, phenomenal coaches, phenomenal institutions. Nothing but my hats off to the Northeast. But then you have some teams, like, and I told you this even down there, like even this new team, Miami Prep, I was shocked at how talented they were. I'm just like, they deserve a sniff at everything that's going on. And then Golden State Prep all the way out on the West Coast just popped up. And they're legit. And then TFF legit. And then you've always had Hargrave Military. And so I think we need to do something in the post-grad world because you're absolutely right. Post-grad is going to continually grow, especially with the landscape of college basketball and where everything is. And so I think there should be an operating body that is willing to put a stamp of approval on post-grads that are doing it the right way. And what I mean by that is I think kids should only be in post-grad if they're going to become Division I or Division II qualifiers. Don't take a kid if he's already going to have to go to JUCO. You're delaying the inevitable. You're prolonging adolescence. If he's going to be a JUCO kid, be honest with him and get him to JUCO right away. Don't take him into your post-grad program. And then you have an academic component. They're not just coming to your school and playing basketball and video games all day. They're actually going to class. What are you prepping them for if they're not doing any academics? And so that's a part of the post-grad. And then I think that the post-grad national champion, and Chad Myers at IMG agrees with me this too, they need to move locations. They need to stop hosting the national championship in the Northeast every year. It is a huge advantage for all of those schools up in the Northeast. And I love those schools in the Northeast. They do a phenomenal job. But you can't tell me my 18-year-olds having to take a 3-hour drive to St. Louis, fly to Baltimore, get a connecting flight to get into Connecticut, drive, stay the night, and play the next day at 10 a.m. for the National Prep Championship is not a benefit to the guys that just drove an hour from the north.
Correct. I agree 100%. Definitely agree. And then let me ask you this. What is it going to take? Because you guys are putting on pressure. You guys are good. And so let me ask this. When I ask that, is it going to take you all going to Hoop Hall and blowing somebody out for this to happen?
Well, keep in mind, we beat Brewster 2 years ago when they had Jalen LeCue. So we went up to the Northeast and beat Brewster. And so I think the awareness and the recognition is increasing because I think there's more and more schools outside of the Northeast that are putting programs together like this, Rob being one of them, IMG, obviously. I think Golden State Prep is one. So Sunrise has a phenomenal
Sunrise, definitely.
So there's enough now to start, wait a minute, maybe this shouldn't just be a Northeast thing anymore. Maybe we should open this thing up. Or at least if they keep doing it, they need to open it up to 16 teams at the end of the year rather than the 8 that they've been traditionally doing.
But this is what's going to happen. And we talked about this. What we saw at IMG a couple weeks ago, there was no teams from the NETSAC there. They're down. I get that. That tournament was top notch. You're going to end up getting a product that is better than what the Northeast is putting out. And like you said, this is no knock to the NETSAC. What I'm thinking is, my gosh, you're going to have a link here. You're going to have a TSF. You're going to have a Central Point. You're going to have a Golden State Prep. You're going to have a link here. You're going to have a PHH out in Phoenix or Arizona Compass. You're going to have a Don Bosco. in a moment, you're going to be like, wait a minute, this is better than what the NetSac is putting out if calmer heads don't prevail. And this keeps being, okay, you're a national champion here, you're a national champion there. Then it's going to be, okay, you guys won and these guys won. Let's take the top two from this one and top two from this one. And if somebody says no, then the pressure is really going to be applied because they'll say, what are you scared of?
I couldn't agree more. And here's the other thing. I told you this in Florida. I can't get any of those Northeast schools to come and play in any of our events. So the only way we can even play those schools is if we fly up there to play them. And that's what else Chad's trying to work at IMG. He was trying to get some of those NEPSAC schools, and he said, had COVID not been here, maybe we would have got some of them. I would just love to see some more of those Northeast schools travel and go play other places rather than in their little home body.
I agree. I would have loved to see Putnam come down. I would have loved to see Scotland, Brewster, Blair. That would have took that IMG. Man, I would have slept on the floor for that right there, because the quality of talent, and like I said, hence there was no COVID. Can you imagine how many coaches would have been there?
Oh my goodness, it would have been insane. It would have been. But here, let's keep it real too, right, David? You would agree with this that 7-8 years ago there was no disparity. Like it was the Northeast basketball. And there's no question. Nobody 7-8 years ago in the post-grad world could compete with it. It wasn't even close. But that was 7 years ago. And so now I'm with you. Like today, like there are so many really well-run post-grad programs. Like I even think Spire was an unbelievable team. They're loaded. They're well coached. They know what they're doing. That Miami prep school I told you, Hargrave was there, TSF. I'm trying to think of some other schools that were there that I was just pretty impressed with. I was like, man, I never heard of these guys, and they're hooping.
Yeah, and I saw Miami Prep at my event in Orlando, and that's how they got on my radar. I was like, man, these guys are good, And there's scores of other ones that are still up and coming, because really Miami Prep, they're a junior version of you guys, just a little bit smaller, but they play incredibly hard. That's their staple. I mean, they're like, I call them the Baltimore Ravens of basketball, because they play so tough on D. And their head coach, he used to be at Mercer, so I already knew who he was. And he is. I know you're energetic, but he takes it to a whole nother level.
I don't drink coffee. He drinks coffee.
But like we said, when we talked for so long. I mean, and we just aligned with what our thoughts were. And I said, man, you were saying basically what I was saying before I could even say it, because we're getting to the point, and this is for the culture as well. Do you understand? I know somebody would sponsor this, whether it be Geico, Nike, or whatever big corporation, to have that big 16 or 20 or 2014 tournament, because what I saw at IMG, I know people will pay for that.
Yeah,
I know they will.
Well, and I think still, David, there's still a huge contingent of the basketball culture that isn't completely well versed on what post-grad basketball is. Like I get asked all the time too. Oh, you guys are a prep school. Do you guys play Oak Hill? No, Oak Hill's just 9 through 12. We're post-grad. And so I think still, even people with an IMG event, they're like, wait a minute. So these aren't high schools. These are post-grad schools. And so now, and then people get confused because IMG has a high school that it won the Geico 2 years ago, and they have the post-grad who we played against, who also loaded with 5 stars. And so that's I agree. And I think the more the culture is educated on the difference between prep, high school
post-grad,
post-grad, I think they will get behind post-grad more, because you're right. They don't even realize Donovan Mitchell, Devontae Graham. Like you can go on a list of guys who did post-grad basketball that are doing it in the league now.
Mm-hmm.
So
I couldn't agree more with you. So this is starting to turn into just like when we were at IMG. But question for you, just because I wanted to bring your program out there to Atlanta, because like I said, you're one of those programs where I definitely put my stamp of approval on. Tell me more about Link Year.
Yeah, so we're unique in the sense that we operate with more than just a basketball program. We're connected to a really big sports camp, and we do traditionally what link year would have been called in European circles as a gap year. And so these are kids that are trying to get their ACT scores up, their experience up. We do international travel. We do mentorship. We do a lot of development. We're a Christian-based program, so there's a lot of discipleship that takes place. But we take that 9 months really to eradicate prolonged adolescence, teach kids how to manage their money, manage their time, manage themselves, get out of mom and dad's nest and grow up. And as you and I know, that freshman year can be so formidable and important. Yeah. And so a lot of guys that get link year prep basketball guys are like, man, these dudes aren't freshmen. Because we treat, I mean, they're up. I'll be up with them tomorrow, David, at 6:30 a.m. We'll be in the weight room. Then they'll go to class, and then they'll hit lunch, and then we'll be at practice, and then they'll hit study hall, and then they'll get shots up. And so, and this is all week, and then we'll travel this weekend and play games. And so, it's like they're in the D1 grind. I played Division I basketball, and I treat them like, fellas, this is it. Either you like this or you don't like this. And so, but they also get to have relationships with other students that aren't basketball players and interact with them. And we get students to come to the game, and when we're not in a COVID year, pack out the gym, and it's a lot of fun. It's a really fun environment. It's a unique, special environment. Every kid, David, like not one that has come on a recruiting visit to Link Year has told me no. I'm just telling you, that's how amazing our facilities are. I haven't had one kid ever that I've been recruiting visit our campus and visit our facilities and go somewhere else. I think people will be blown away by the facilities. We just finished a $2 million gym. We got $3 million dormitories, a full dining hall, the whole bit. We're in the process of continually growing. We're going to launch a high school team next year. We're going to have a 9 through 12 team next year. We're in the process of dropping that. And so we are in a fertile growing stage, which we're really excited about. So we've actually had a kid from Atlanta, from Wheeler High School. I loved him, Austin Johnson. He's at UCI now, so I've got a great connection with Coach over at Wheeler. And Austin did phenomenal for us. So,
Wheeler. Matter of fact, we were just at Wheeler this past weekend for their holiday tournament, so we're very familiar with Larry's. He's awesome. Like I said, he's one of our top coaches in the Atlanta area. So yeah, you have a good connection there. Trust me, you definitely have a good connection.
Coach Thompson and I got a great relationship and mutual respect for each other. And he's tried to send me some more guys this year. Unfortunately, I was full, but he used to be at Green
Force.
He was at Green Force. And so he got me Muhammad Abdul Salam, and Muhammad's now at UNCG. And then he went to Wheeler and he got me Austin Johnson. And so we got a great relationship. So I've actually had 2 Atlanta kids now that I think about that. And I've loved both of them. Love both. Atlanta kids know how to hoop, man. I'm telling you, Atlanta knows what they're doing with basketball. So,
and so what's going to end up happening, and I already know what's going to happen, especially with us having a relationship, that area that you got from Coach Thompson, there are a bunch of kids that are underrated. So there were some kids that played for TLAP that was at IMG. Some kids that played for TLAP that didn't have any offers, went post-grad, and now they're going mid-major.
David, I got a kid right now that you saw play, my skinny 6'8" kid.
Yeah.
0 offers, and now he's a 4-star. What changed? Nothing changed. I mean, he works hard. We developed him. He's gotten better. And then Tulsa was on him. DePaul was on him. Boise State was on him. Colorado State was on. And he just blew up. And because rivals saw him play down the first Florida event we went to. And the only thing that changed for this kid was exposure. And so you and I know this, a lot of the shoe circuit kids get ranked. And a lot of college coaches that are recruiting kids, their job's on their line versus off them getting in ranked kids. But I've been doing this long enough to see some guys that I know that are ranked. And then I got some dudes over here, and I'm like, this dude just gave this dude buckets. And he's doing it 9 in, 9 out. He's showing up to practice. He's showing up to the weight room. And so if there's any kids listening to this, don't put much stock in the ranking. Put stock in your work ethic, your effort.
Please repeat that. Don't
put much stock in the rankings. We thrive off of getting kids that aren't ranked, developing them, and then getting them to the right fit. But yes, we've had kids go high major, but we've also got a lot of kids that go to the right fit that are having phenomenal careers.
So let me ask you this with what you just brought up. So you're okay with a kid going D2 or NAIA, that's a phenomenal program, right?
So remember my big white kid, 6'5" shooter that you saw down at IMG?
Yeah.
He's right now enrolled, started classes today at a Division II called Missouri Southern.
Yes, I know. Yes.
I love the fit for him. He didn't even finish the year with me. Why? Because COVID's weird and he can do this. And he said, Coach, do you mind? I said, Brevin, I want what's best for you. I think that's a phenomenal fit. Go after it. And he's literally started classes today at that school. And he was with me 3 weeks ago.
Wow. Okay. So let me ask you this. In your opinion, I put you up there with the IMGs, the Putnams, the Hargraves. Why link year? What's going to stand apart going to link year versus the other big boys?
Well, location, right? So for some of us, a lot of those Texas Midwest kids have gone to the Northeast. Now they don't have to. They have a great alternative with us.
Okay.
And honestly, it depends what you want. Like, it makes sense to me. Like, I got Coben Porter playing for us right now, Michael Porter Jr.'s little bro.
Yeah.
And he was really interested in the Ivy League school. So when he came on a recruiting visit, I said, man, you should really look into Northfield Mount Hermon. Like they're are
the post grad of the Ivies. Yes.
Yeah. And I was honest with him about that. And so if you're a high academic kid, I'm talking like Ivies, we don't hold a match to some of those Northeast schools. That just the facts. Yeah. I'm never gonna lie. But if you want a D1 strength coaching experience, college basketball practice experience, class, how to manage your schedule, I don't know why you would pick any other school over it. When it comes to facilities, the 24/7 access the guys have to our gym, the protein and nutritious we provide, the full scholarships we offer, which very few postgrads put the package together, we're able to put together. I don't know. I'm just being honest. I don't know why you would.
Well, okay. No, you just said something. So you guys offer all, or do you have payers as well?
So we have two teams. We have one that are full scholarships and one that are full payers. So our full payers play more of a regional schedule. They'll play a lot of other grads in the Midwest. And then we have full scholarship kids. And David, my full scholarship kids, that's room, that's board, that's food, that's protein and nutrition for their weight room program recovery afterwards. And so we're providing their nutrition and protein. That's their travel, that's their gear. I mean, it's the only thing we don't do is we don't give them cost of attendance. So, I mean, that's as close you can get to one scholarship without cost of attendance.
Got you. And I already know you guys, because we talked about it, you guys play on a national schedule.
Yep, correct. And we were supposed to be in the Hoop Hall. We were supposed to be in the National Prep Invitational, and all that Northeast stuff obviously got shut down. So
yes. And as we both know, that's one of the big things of playing post-grad is exposure. Exposure, player development, weight room, eating right, the whole nine. So that, that's just a situation where, like I said, you guys are doing the right things. And, like I said, you definitely have my stamp of approval because, I mean, like I said, the way you guys played, and like I said, it was evident. You could tell by the way you guys work and the way you put it out on the court together. I said, yeah, I'm sold on them. Yeah, you're a great guy, but there's great guys that don't have great programs either. So, I really liked it. So, man, I appreciate you coming on because I wanted to put you out there. After I met you, I was the first thing, hey, man, will you come on the show? Please, will you come on the show? Because, my saying for you is you guys are turning into the IMG of the Midwest. And I do plan to come out there to, check out everything. I want to see it for myself as well.
You got a free place to stay, and we will give you some hillbilly Vegas barbecue, man.
I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. So for people that are out here in Atlanta, this is definitely another option you want to consider. Now, understand this. He has some killers. So don't think you're coming out here, you're just, I'm going to go out there and tear it up. No, that's not the case. This is as close to a college program for postgrad as you're going to get as any of the other big boys, definitely. And you do it the right way, and I always commend anybody that does it the right way. Hence, that's why I wanted to bring you on the show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I love being on. So.
Definitely. So, again, this won't be the last time you'll be on the show, and definitely got to invite you down to come check out any AAU or high school events because I know you're a recruiter as well. Definitely.
Well, hopefully the spring circuit's back up and running. I'll be down there for some EYBL events. So,
I think EYBL is not going to go, but don't quote me on that. But we'll see.
you think in the spring it's not going to happen?
We'll see. It's not looking good. We'll see.
It's tough, man. This COVID deal. Let's hope 2021 turns this thing around.
But here's the thing, though. The independent circuit is probably going to be crazy this year. If UA doesn't do anything, Adidas doesn't do anything, and EYBL, that means the independent circuit is going to be insane.
Yep.
So, but again, man, I appreciate you, Adam. And, if you come down to Florida, I will see you. And I do plan to come up there. I will be taking pictures like, hey, look at this here. This is on IMG's level, for real.
So I appreciate you a ton. Have a great evening. Thanks for having me on.
All right, man. You take care, Adam. We'll be talking soon, okay?
All right, David. Thank you. Take care.
Take care. Last part of the show. Been a great show tonight. I always got to bring my man on because, one of the big things about this show is our unsigned segment. And like Coach Adam just said, it's, finding these kids that are jewels out here that people don't know about. And then they get an opportunity or they get an opportunity to develop on top of an exposure and they take it and run with it. We have a number of kids that are taking advantage of these opportunities as well. From post-grad or JUCO, they're taking big advantage, and then they're on the D1 and D2 scene, and they're becoming all-conference, and they're doing great things. Let me go ahead and bring in the next one. Juke, what's going on, buddy?
What's going on? What's going on, Mr. Jones? We here.
Hey, man, I'm just trying to work hard, just trying to make a couple things, trying to be big time like you, brother. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to get there. I ain't there yet. I'm trying to get there.
Just don't look down on us JV freshman type cats. You know what I mean?
Oh no. I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to catch up with you guys.
No, man, you want to be like me. You want to do better. You want to do better, man. Did you go to any events this past weekend, man?
No, I actually watched a couple of stuff on a couple of film on some guys we play this week coming up. So I've been in coach mode. I've been in coach mode the last couple of days.
Okay. Did you look at anything during the holiday?
Yeah, I didn't. We didn't get to talk about Lemon Street, but I actually went to Lemon Street while I was on break. And I saw a couple of teams from my area play that I really don't get to see a lot of. Warrenton, Lincolnton. I actually seen Morgan again.
Okay.
So I actually been catching a couple of the teams from my area. Still haven't seen the shows play. I'm interested in seeing what they got going on too. And then I try to catch some stuff off of SUV TV also. So
got you.
If I'm not there, I'm putting myself somewhere to be at.
And as we all know, SUV TV is the platform, definitely the platform out here. Shout out to Marcus. Duke, I'm gonna let you go first with yours, man.
Man. Well, I'm gonna start with my girl first.
Okay.
Jalencia Taylor. She's a junior out of Blakely County High School. She actually had 18 points, 9 steals, and 5 assists her last game. And man, quick guard. She plays hard on both ends. I think she was actually like a AA player of the year, like for her region, like 3 AA. So I think she's 5'6", 5'7". She can go though. Like her a lot. Watch the film, and I actually was gonna feature her on Underrated Gems. So, but I was able to put on here. I might also put on that one too. But man, I like her a lot.
Okay.
Charge. Smart too.
Okay.
Very smart player. D up. She a D up too. The scrappy guard. Have you ever been to Bleckley County before, Mr. Jones?
Nah, hey, I'm open to go, man. Juke, you've been putting me on to the places outside of Atlanta. If it hasn't been Atlanta, Augusta, or Macon, I'm still learning my way.
I think I think this out here by like South Georgia where Lot's at. So
Okay.
and man, she's tough. I
Is
want to
anybody
see her.
looking at her?
I don't even think nobody knows too much about her. You know how,
Wow.
and the last 2022 kids I have that we featured on here, nobody didn't know about too much until now.
Yeah. And Juke, as you know, that's why I've been adamant at having you on this show, because now we got kids that are starting to get interest and offers off of what we're doing here, man. And to me, that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing about all this, what we're doing. This isn't about any accolades. This was trying to get Georgia kids on, and even kids outside of Georgia that send us stuff like we talk about.
And see what people gotta understand there, like, man, it's some gems that we've been featuring the last couple of weeks.
Definitely, definitely.
And it surprises me that a lot of coaches haven't even bit on some of those kids that we have. Like even with the what is it, Umar Rashid?
Well,
That's
that's about
crazy.
to, yeah. He about to he about to shock a lot of folks. Well, he already opened up the Atlanta world when he got the MIT offer. You know what I'm saying? But he got MIT. He got a bunch of hey, Dub, I got you, brother. I got you, Dub. You coming, brother. Take your time. You coming, bro. But Umar has blown up, and Juke, you're going to get another surprise real soon from Umar. Let's just put it like that.
But I'm high on that kid, especially with the grades.
Yeah. And he's averaging 18, 10, and like 2 blocks, something like that now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so he's having a great senior season, and that's just increasing his stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
I'm hoping we can get some more college coaches, women coaches on Jalencia. I'm a pusher. I'm gonna put her on the underrated gems too. So we'll have her on. I'll be able to push her even more. But my next one is Javon Grant. He's actually he's a 2021 point guard out of Kansas. I think 34, 36, and 33. He scored the first 3 games of the season, and he just dropped 41 like 2 days ago. Athletic, shoots off the dribble, athletic, great handles. He can score on all 3 levels. Look at the film, you'll be able to tell. You'll see him.
Okay.
Dre wanted to see Jalencia again. I'll take that
too. Come on, coach.
And that kid that Dre was talking about earlier that were going that he said might go prep. Somebody had sent me a message about him earlier.
Oh man, he can go. And the post grads are going to be all over him too. Trust me.
If that's the case, he plays the game real simple. Like it's 1-2 dribbles. I'm either shoot it or he doesn't waste a dribble. And I like him. I can't wait to see where he goes if he goes post grad.
Yeah, there'll be a number of, and like I said, Larry got connections, and I mean, yeah, if he needs our help, great. But trust me, Larry got that one taken care of.
We went on Dre, huh?
Yeah. might be having a little technical difficulty with which one you had 2 more, right?
Yeah, I had 2 more.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll have to come back to that one then. I got you, bro.
Javon Grant.
But now the next kid, I think he's been blowing up all summer long. Well, not even all summer long, probably since July.
Who are you talking about?
Jamil Ride out of Burton.
Oh yeah. Man, listen, man, he has gotten. Let me stop you for a second. when you talk about someone that has gotten so much better in the past year, I look at him, I was like, is that Ryder? I'm like, yo, he can play. And it wasn't that he couldn't play before, it's just he's gotten so much better. He's gotten so much better.
Very, very much so. And I knew it. I knew it. That's just something that was special for me, man. Like I
Yeah.
knew it. And I don't even care. I know everybody knew about Ride Out, but he wasn't getting the love that he deserved. Before anything, he wasn't getting the love he deserved this summer. So
Listen, he put his stamp after this summer, Juke. After this summer, Ride Out was like, I'm a player and I deserve to be on this level.
And man, when he came out this summer and hit like 9 threes in one game, people should have known then that he was here to stay. And he's played hard against Kel. He played hard. He had a good game against Kel, had another good game against Wheeler, and he's been consistent ever since. So for me, like Charleston Southern offered him, but I don't understand why the rest of these coaches or other programs send around Wade when this kid can play. Like, what else? It's crazy. Like, what else does this kid need to do for people to be like, ooh, like he's played hard. He played against a Celtics team that was good too. And then he played against like a couple of stacked teams that really, really hard, and he was like one of the best players on the court.
Yeah, no question. Like I said, when I saw him this summer, I was like, this dude can play.
And Kid has great vision. He can score on all 3 levels of the floor, and he's a competitor. And you might not even tell, like he's just humble. But when he gets on the court, he wants to kill everybody that plays against him. And he has yet to be stopped. Like I don't know what else anybody else want me to say about the kid. Like I've been pushing. And the one thing that I don't like about it is that we'll give the accolades to the 4-star, 5-star kids. But then when we got kids like Kobe Parson, Jamil Rideout, or Umar, or even the Rooker kid for the Canes. You know what I'm saying? People, Jen. So people don't even understand, like, what do y'all want to see? Like, give these kids the same love y'all give everybody else. That's all I'm saying. And because that's what I want to see. So for me, being able to put Ride out here is a great opportunity. That's why I want to make sure we feature him. Yeah, he might not be a hidden gem to some people in the city, but he's a hidden gem to everybody else outside the city besides Charleston Southern. So
that's true.
I mean, Charleston Southern was smart. That's what I'm saying. They were smart, and that's what's going on. So coaches, you need more information on Ride Out, hit me up. I send you to the right person. But this kid can go. Point blank, period. I stamped that on my stamp of approval for real. The last kid is a JUCO kid that he's actually from Augusta, Georgia. Played at Joseph High School. He was at Iowa Western, but I heard today that he's at USC Second Hatch.
He's at Salt? Okay.
Yeah, he's at Salt. DeMontrez Ruffin. Hey, came to one of my open runs 2 years ago. And I promise you, he was the best player there. Film don't lie. There you go.
Watch out.
In high school, they called this kid Amina Westbrook. No lie. Shoot it.
Pull up. Cash.
Oh yeah. Everything, man. This kid right here has everything that you want in him. Everything.
Hey man, listen, Salt got a tough squad, Juke. They got Deshaun Daniels to go with him, man. That's a tough squad.
And hey, Coach, I'm telling you, This kid had D1 written all over him out of high school as an 11th grader. He just got lost in the system. Like, this kid can really, really play. 6'4", handles, jump out the gym, shoot the ball on all 3 levels.
Oh, and you know what's crazy, Joe? Deshaun Daniels plays just like that. Means they go 6'4" and 6'6" at the guards.
This kid is tough. I vouch when he came to that open run, you knew he was the best player there, and that was 2 years ago.
Mm.
This kid can play.
Yeah, he looked good, man. I know somebody got to be looking at him. I know that.
0 offers, period, none.
That'll change. Trust me,
Yeah,
that'll change.
if you looking, it's okay. I mean, I understand the offer game, the numbers game is crazy. And some of these kids like to have a relationship. They like to build relationships with people. They want to make sure that they can trust you. So yeah, you can be looking and not say a word, but what looking gonna get you if you're not talking to the kid, you're not building a relationship with him. I can look at a kid every day, and if I don't talk to him, he'll never know that I'm interested in him. He'll never know that I want him to be a part of what I'm a part of if I don't never talk to him.
And Dr. Love brought his comment. That comment's a good comment that he brought up. He said, they kill me when they say who else is recruiting him. Who cares? The kid can play or can ball. Man, 100%, man. I'm with you on that. 100%.
Yeah, me too.
You know, but a lot of people like to sit back and wait, and then, like you say, then let's say somebody in their conference get on them, then they want to peek and say, well, let us get in on them too, and then another, and then all of a sudden he goes from 0 to 6, 7, 8 offers because now some of them have been waiting, and I get, it's a game to this, and strategy. You want to see if this kid, but like you said, who really wants to step out and say, I believe in this kid, I'm going to make the offer regardless? And a lot of people are afraid to do that. And listen, I understand.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something.
When you make it 80 or 150 or $200,000, you do got to be selective. And you got to step out on faith with some of these kids, man, because some of them, it's just crazy they don't get anything. And I get some of them don't fit certain systems. So I understand when they get passed on by certain coaches to say, this kid doesn't fit our system. But not every kid doesn't fit every system. Then that becomes, okay, that's not a good answer there.
Man, I'm going to tell you, it's a JUCO that came down because you featured one of the kids on the episode. They came down and took another kid out of South Georgia. I promise you, this kid will be playing mid-major, high-major basketball after he goes to this JUCO. I'm telling you. That's off of looking at the film. He signed to that school, and they got 2 steals out of Georgia. 2.
Oh, I know you talk about now.
But they got another one. They got another one, Mr. Jones. He has D1. That kid the kid we just seen on the last clip.
Yeah.
He plays the same freaking way.
Okay.
The same way.
You got some more, Juke?
No, that's it. I hate that I didn't get the Grant kid, but I know that I'll make sure we have him next Sunday. He's gonna be one to take a look at.
Okay, I got a couple that I definitely want to show some love to. I'm gonna start with my girls first. The first one I'm gonna start with is Elizabeth Isan. Definitely an interesting situation. She's a JUCO kid. She's a JUCO kid from last year, but she's an international, and because of COVID, she couldn't get back in the States in August. So she can go, and to be honest with you, she's not, it's D1 or bust. She's looking, if you're trying to show me love, D1, D2, D3, she got a 3.5. She's like, give me a call.
Okay.
Now tell me, she is not a whatever level kid. I mean, I know D3s that have to be salivating over this. D3, D2, low
How
major.
big is she?
Say
How
again.
big is she? How big is she?
She's 5'8". 5'8".
Mm,
That
wow.
jumper's crispy. It's crispy.
Yeah, that's tough. And what you said she's
She
just
went
looking
to
for a
she went to
school?
Independence. Man, she is open, Jew. Open.
Oh, I'm
Now,
testing up.
of course she would like a scholarship, but she was like, I'll go NAI because, thankfully, and I know it's crazy to say, thankfully because of COVID, she gets that extra year because she was going to be out of luck if they didn't give that extra year. She was going to lose her junior year.
So she has 2 more years left.
Yes, she got 2 more years left.
Send me that film, Coach. When we get a chance, send me that.
Yeah, I get it to you. I definitely get it to you. My next one, man, she's not out of Georgia. She's out of Nashville. And I really feel like it's only a matter of time for this one. Her name is Campbell Strange, 6'2" forward out of Wilson Central, right outside of Nashville, bro. She can go 3.0 GPA. Folks, y'all sleeping on this one if y'all do not get in on Campbell Strange.
Can't wait to see this.
Yeah, she's straight, man. She's straight. And she play out on the wing, bro. She play out on the wing.
Out of Tennessee?
Yeah, out of Nashville, bro. Right outside of Nashville. Now, tell me, Juke, I'm not trying to be funny, bro. Are we missing something here, bro?
She knows she can get in the passing lane. She look quick too.
Exactly at 6'2", bro.
Oh, you did say she was 6'2".
Yeah, man.
Oh, she my height. I like those 6'2" forwards anyway. Those 6'2"
boy,
guys. She's the
you
wing.
say that
Like,
all the time.
yeah, I
It's
love
6'2" and
those.
up.
If I could build a team of girls 6'2", but I like them small guards too. I ain't gonna lie, man. Ever since I did that event with Jared, that pro movement event, I've really
that
been
girls camp.
intrigued. Yeah, I've been intrigued on the girls, that coaching girls side. I like
Hey,
that.
man, and speaking of that, shout out to Asia Smith as well from Marietta. She just got an offer from Columbia International. That's one we had her on the show. It was the beginning of December we put her out there, and she just got an offer. So congratulations to her as well. I got two more. So I'm gonna go with my high school boys. I'm gonna go with Zaire Green out of Miller Grove. He made a name for himself. Yeah, he made a name for himself up there at Lemon Street and at the Wheeler tournaments. Definitely made a name for himself. I like this guy.
I was talking about Green to a coach today, actually.
He
He
gonna get some
loves
more
Zaire.
offers. Yeah,
Oh
he
yeah,
gonna get some more offers. And Miller
he's on
Grove is tough, man.
he's on an underrated gym too. Just so you know.
Yeah, he can play, man. I like him.
How many he had at the Lemon Street the first game against Grove Town?
Was it 35?
He had like 35, 36.
Yeah, he hit him for 35.
That's a
He was
gift
like
of each right
up. Got a nice little sweet stroke with him, man. Like I said, I like him. And again, Juke, these are kids that, sometimes we don't get to see them all the time, and they come out of nowhere and you're saying, who's this kid? Then you start sitting down, then you start paying attention, then you're like, okay, who's looking at it?
Nobody.
Bro.
Well, actually,
well, he got a little bit of interest now,
yeah.
But leading up into Lemon Street, so of course, after he hit for 35, I reached out to him and was like, "Hey, man, who's looking at you?" He was like, "Nobody." What? And after Lemon Street, he got some, some interest. People start following him and reaching out to him. But again, I know this is Atlanta, but as you all can see, there's so many talented kids that he can't fall through the cracks because this guy can play. He can play. He's that what 6'3", 6'4", something like that, and can shoot it.
He ain't go, he's one of the kids that won't fall out of because he's playing good basketball and I think they're actually winning. So and if he continues to do that and his film goes, then he's going to blow up. He's going to blow up, and it's a kid out of Saguanet High School that's also going to blow up too. Remember, I told you that.
Okay.
Remember that.
And
I'm telling you.
I got one more. Well, it was probably about a month or so ago he had reached out to me, and I was like, okay. And at the time, I think I was down at IMG, so I didn't get a chance to really look. But I saw him play. I saw him play over the past week and a half, and I like the kid. And he has a high GPA too. Forgive me if I pronounce the name wrong. From South Cobb, Baki Lecky. He's a 6'4" guard. 6'4", 6'5", right in that range. And I like what I saw out of him.
Okay. Is he a lefty?
Come on, Jill. Come on, Jill.
I didn't even get to see him shoot it yet. I had to check and see if he was a lefty when he dunked left-handed like that.
You know what? No, he's not. But when I saw him, when I saw him dunk with that left, I just assumed when I saw that, that's all I need to see. I said, oh, he in a fraternity.
Is he a junior or senior?
He's a senior. This is against McEachern. I mean, he can play, man. I like him. He can play.
Any schools on him?
Not that I know of. Unless it's been recent. Again, it's just like Zaire. I would hope that after him playing over Christmas.
That's him on defense?
Yeah. I would hope that some people are getting involved because, I mean, gosh, at the very least, man, D2, NAI, and, and even with it, if it's a consistency thing, I think at the end of the day, a D2 or NAI would be crazy not to look.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So, I definitely wanted to show him love. So that's my picks for this week. I had 2 girls and 2 boys. And, man, we just going to keep doing this, Duke, because, I think it's on both of us to keep putting these kids out. And I also like to put on my page when they get offers or they sign, because, I mean, that's what this is about, man. That's what this is all about. I know next week you got games this week, Juke, right?
Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday.
This week coming up, there's a post-grad tournament in Atlanta. CBA is having a tournament over at ASA.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go check that out. And then there's I don't know. I know Central Point and I know a couple other schools are coming. So I can't say it's a heavy hitter. I know some good teams. And CBA is another good school that people haven't heard that much about. They have a good team for post grad out of Atlanta. They have a good team. And then there's a classic down in there's one more I'm going to check out. It's on the south side. I'm gonna go check that one out as well. So that's gonna be my weekend this weekend.
Yeah, we got a couple games, so I'm locked in. I'm actually gonna, after we get done here, finish making the underrated gym, and then I'm gonna study some film. I gotta get it. But I also do something every Monday now. I do my sleepers of the week. So while I'm here, I'll make sure I put that out. I didn't do one for this week, but since I didn't come in last week, I'll make sure I do it. Going to let them know who it is. Caleb Willis out of Lincoln County High School, 6'5" guard / wing, and he's a 2021 guard. And Lorenzo Johnson out of Warrenton High School. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the state, regardless of class. I'll say that. Put a stamp on it, like I've been saying. Put a stamp on it. Just for the record, Dre, if you need another shooter for your 21 team or your 2022 or whatever, this is one kid you need to check out. Best shooter in the state. One of the best shooters in the state.
Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this show. As always, we appreciate everybody that comes out. I think this show was one of the best shows we had. We had 3 great guests, 3 great passionate ones, and to go with Juke to throw on those underrated gems and me throwing on, just these unsigned kids. I think we're moving in the right direction. I know coaches are definitely hot for the show, which is a good thing, and we're starting to get more DMs, more emails, and we're just going to keep doing what we need to do. And again, we appreciate y'all for checking out the show. Hey, if you got any kids that you want to get seen, you can hit me up. You can hit Juke up. Again, this isn't about me getting something or Juke getting something. It's about getting that kid out for, get them some exposure. And, we'll do what we can. But once again, we appreciate y'all for coming to the show. Next week, we got another good show lined up. You all take care. One love, definitely.